The major U.S. stock averages continue to hit all-time highs. We are seeing the markets rally like it's 1999. So joining me now is Alan Valdes of Silver Bear Capital. Alan, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Remy.
Well, we're here on a Tuesday afternoon and we're seeing new intraday highs hit for the equity averages. And given that this is a seasonal time when we get the Santa Claus rally, are you seeing any warning signs yet?
You know, normally I'd say, yeah, there are kind of warning signs. I mean, with 19,000, we're kind of high, that's for sure. But, you know, it's a different time now. We got this Trump rally, and, you know, investors are looking at the tax cuts. They're looking at the rollback in 95,000 pages of regulations, which is really a sell tax of $1.7 trillion on businesses. They're looking on the cash coming back into the country, the billions coming back into the country. So overall, they're looking at a huge boom rally next year in equities. So you're seeing a lot of investors getting on the board, the Trump train, as they say, and riding this thing. I still think we'll get to 20,000 in the Dow, maybe by the end of December. Probably January, but if that's the case, then you might see a big pause, because psychologically that's a huge number. I mean, there was a huge not a huge sell-up, but there was a pause when the Dow reached 10,000 when you were about 6 years old. Then there was a pause when the Dow reached 15,000, and now there could be a pause up here at 20,000. It could definitely happen, so we'll have to see. But overall, I think this rally continues.
Well, Alan, we have a lot more insight here on Wall Street, but for the average investor out there on Main Street, how can they make heads or tails of what's happening, what sectors are in and what sectors are out right now?
Great question. Well, you know, what's really moving the market are commodities. That's a sector that will be hot in a Trump plan. Also, infrastructure related sectors, pharmaceuticals, financials. Financials have been on a tear because Trump's plan all helps those groups. So I think that's what you want to look for. But more importantly, I think you want to look at domestic stocks. That's why the Russell's having such a great run right now. Small caps, mainly small caps, are domestic kind of groups. So that's what I think you look at small cap stocks. I think you'll see a great run in them. And I think mainly because of this Trump rally, you'll see a good run in them.
And Alan, last but not least, before I let you go, we have the November 30th meeting of OPEC members taking place in Vienna, and that's what everyone's waiting for. There's been so much rhetoric out from the member nations as well as nations who aren't even members. So what are we going to get?
Well, you know, I don't think you'll really get muching. It's just a lot of chatter. You know, they've been down this road before. I don't see the Russians, the Iranians, the Saudis coming on board with a... If they do, it's going to be such a high threshold of production that it's meaningless. And, you know, you wonder how relevant OPEC really is. I mean, that $900 billion find in Texas last week, I mean, it's incredible. So I don't know really if they mean that much going forward. It's going to be tough for OPEC. Demand for oil will probably ramp up 1 million barrels a year. But I think that the days of $100 oil or even $60 oil may be behind us. I think you're going to see oil stay in this $40 to $50 range, in that range.
Okay, Alan. Well, thank you so much, as always, for your insight, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Remy. You too.